Hi and hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Or good morning or good afternoon.
Whenever you watch this pod,
Yeah.
we are here. We are here for the hang. And
We're hanging.
I'm your co-host,
I'm
Carlisle.
also your co-host, Bryan Agnew here. What's up?
What's up?
How are you?
I've been better.
Okay. Listen, that's raw and real. Let's
Just raw dogging life out
just
here.
raw dogging
You know?
We all are, really, you know? Why is it so rough? What's going on?
We really are. No, I was just telling Bryan here that my car was shorting out at traffic lights last night. I was trying to do a little Halloween delivering.
Yeah.
And wasn't working out for you, girl. Engine was shutting off. Yeah.
Just turning off.
Was turning off.
This is a through line, and I think we've also talked about your other car, the Scion.
Yeah, things are turned off by me, apparently, at this stage in my life. Oof. So
just took a dark turn.
Right out the gate.
Whoa.
Coming in hot.
And no one's listening. No, I'm kidding. No,
it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. OJ is very resilient. And
hey, listen,
it'll be back. But this is my thing, like, because it's a recall, and because all Broncos are recalled. It's not just mine. I didn't like.
Yeah, it was like the year and the model.
Yeah, they said, bring it on in. We'll take care of it. But think of that. If you're a business and you're not going to make money off of it because it's a free recall, you're not going to be in a hurry to
fix
it, to do anything.
Yeah.
So they're in no hurry. So I got the old 2 to 3 days from Monday.
See, that's wild. But it's like an inventory thing. Like, where's the inventory at? You know?
They said something has to dry. They have to put a part in and it has to dry. But if that's what, in fact, was making the car turn off, we don't know. Could have just been me. Again, this is what happens.
Is it just me, or like lots of mechanics aren't working in general? Like Boeing's airplanes don't fucking really work that well.
Yeah.
The spaceship they put together doesn't work that well.
It's very scary. Like lately,
cars are being recalled.
Planes are dropping out of doors are blowing off in the sky. I'm not really like one to just want to jump on a plane right now.
No,
I'm trying to skip anything that's not necessary.
Hell yeah, dude. I don't even I will literally book a flight and look at what type of plane it's actually going to be, because you can do that.
How do you do that?
It's hilarious because it's literally like if you go to Google Travel or you go to really any of them, it's like the times, the departing city, the return city, and then wait, that's the same place.
I'm like,
You're like, wait,
the departing.
We're circling. Sorry. Did I mention I relapsed on smoking the?
Did you?
A little bit. That's why that mistake happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a small one.
Just a little one.
Just a little.
Could have happened to anyone. I didn't have to admit that.
A little blip in the brain.
It's just guilt.
Now you're just getting paranoid. I didn't have to admit that. Why did I say that?
And that's the marijuana.
That's the marijuana. It's a holiday weekend. And look,
Is it a holiday weekend?
Yeah. I mean, not whenever they're watching it, but it's Halloween. It's Duerdes de Muerte, however you say it.
Oof,
today.
You butchered that.
I really did. Don't
Spanish,
come for me.
Yeah.
The Duolingo bird is sick.
It's still yelling at you.
It's got like a droopy eye. It's not working for me.
Yeah. It's a leper now.
So
the app is a leper.
It really is. But so was Halloween the slip?
What was the slip?
You were on vacation.
Yeah, I went home to visit family, which was cool. That was fun. And
a lot of stoners in your family just waking and baking there, and you were like, all right, I'm at mom's house. What's funny? She's got the bong out. Why not? Sorry, Miss Agnew.
Sorry, Mom. There are some people who smoke in my family, but I don't know if they wake and bake. That's more of my issue that I deal with, But I don't really do it anymore. Yeah. I'm employed now. I don't do that shit. Yeah. Only on the weekends or in the evenings after 8 p.m.
Okay, which is now.
Wait, okay, what were we talking about? We're talking about flights.
Flights. I want to know how you know what type of plane.
Okay, so you know what type of plane. So you have the airports that you're going in and out of. You have the time all that. And then right between it, where the most important information in smaller font is the type of plane. It'll be like Boeing Air Max 737 or Airbus or whatever.
Aren't they all Boeing?
No. Airbus and Boeing are different companies. So Airbus is based out of Europe. So they have different standards of like how their process is for how they build planes or the quality control of the plane. I watched a documentary, and when Boeing went public, when they merged with this other
do they kill their employees for leaking secrets about their plane?
See, I'm saying.
Come to find out about some of the others.
It's corrupt. They have all their workers are on strike right now. And they're like, no, we're not paying you, dude, because they can't afford it.
I feel like all the planes I fly must be Boeing because I've never noticed it say anything other than Boeing.
Hey, man, most planes
but I'm an
are
Allegiant
Boeing.
gal. All right? Allegiant through and through.
Allegiant, that's an airline.
Yes.
Okay.
And they bring my family closer together for the creation of this airline because it's the only direct flight from LAX to Memphis, which is where I fly.
Oh, okay.
And it's a 3.5 hour flight. And for some reason, no other airline can figure out how to do a 3.5 hour flight. Why? Why is Allegiant the only one? They're, for some reason, not flying over Christmas. And so I'm looking at the other ones. I'm looking at Delta. I'm looking at
like Spirit
American,
Airlines?
Whatever. But yeah, it's cheap. It's super cheap. Everything you buy piecemeal. You buy your seat. You buy if you want the tray to come down or not. You buy if you want an armrest. You buy like everything. You're like, do you want the baggage carrier to have a door on it? Or do you just want it like a strap? Like all that's going to be $7 extra if you want the door versus the strap. Like Allegiant is one of those airlines.
Damn.
Like your pilot is, probably just fresh out of school.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He took the Instagram course that they advertised to you. Do you want to become a pilot for $25K?
Yeah.
He took that course. Now he's flying Allegiant.
They're taking hits left and right.
Yeah.
But your girl's paying $65 one way.
One way. I mean, you can't argue with one way $65.
And what I do is I'll buy it.
But hold on.
I'm serious.
Okay, but yes.
It's that cheap.
But also, you're paying for everything like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's also $65. So it's like $25 for the ticket.
Yeah.
And like $10 for each thing.
If you want to put it in your Apple Wallet, they're going to charge that. Everything is an upcharge, but I buy it piecemeal. So like one day, if I like have enough money for that, I'm like, I'm going to grab the seat.
Yeah.
This time I'm going to get the return flight. Like everything, I just buy it out in pieces.
I like it.
And for whatever reason, they're not flying during Christmas at all.
Yeah, that's weird. That sucks.
I think it's something to do with the construction at LAX. And because the terminal's like way off, like in Siberia. And there's always been a lot of construction
It's like the most
happening.
run down terminal by itself.
Yes.
You got to take one of the cars there.
Yeah,
But it's not even the car. It's like
you
the
have to
car
take a bus. It's shuttle bus.
The shuttle bus there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's very far away. But anyway, they don't even have an offering for me until March of 2025. So, and I'm looking on the Allegiant stuff and I'm like, okay, so I'll just fly something else. No big deal. I'll fly something else.
Yeah.
Everything else, Bryan, is 10+ hour travel day. Why?
Is that just one stop?
When we know there's not any nonstop. All of the other ones you have to change over in like Atlanta or like Dallas.
I mean like one layover. Is that like 2 layovers? Like how many layovers?
It's only one layover, but it's in
long.
places that have inclement weather during Christmas. And I have been at the Atlanta airport before whenever they just started rolling out cots and telling you weren't going to make it home for Christmas.
I think that's one of the busiest airports in the world.
And I will never fly through it again because of this one Christmas that was almost ruined because I flew Delta, who will never sponsor this podcast, clearly, after this story.
We don't want you, Delta.
We don't, look, Allegiant.
Or Boeing, by the way.
Get at me. There was a Christmas when I flew home and I was already cutting it close because of work or whatever stupid restaurant wouldn't let me off.
Yeah.
I think I remember what it was. It was the House of Blues. Remember the House of Blues that used to be here? Probably before you moved here.
Yeah,
actually.
it was.
They were like, sorry, you're hostess. We need you up until the 23rd. I'm like, why? Why do I need to be here the day before Christmas Eve? Nobody's coming to this dumb bar. Anyway, I was cutting it close anyway.
Later it closed.
I'm rerouted through Atlanta airport. I'm there. This is before cell phones, anything. Again, every podcast, I just insist on just dating myself more and more.
Stop
this is like your pot thing. Like nobody needs to know you relapse. Nobody needs to know that I was flying home from California before there were really cell phones. No, there were some.
It seems like the flight would be more interesting.
There were cell phones, but it was a newer thing.
Okay,
anyway,
but hold on real quick. I'll ask you later. Okay, I'll save it.
Ask me, save this. I was in the Atlanta airport and they come over and they're like, all right, we're shutting down the airport. It will reopen again on Friday. Friday is like 2 days after Christmas. So the whole thing I've flown home for, I'm about to miss.
You were flying Christmas Eve.
They were rolling out the day before Christmas Eve, but it was a bad storm. Bad storm.
Okay.
They were rolling out cots. They were passing out toothbrushes, okay? This is how bad this was. And so I get on a payphone. I'm calling my mom. I'm like crying. I'm like, I'm going to have to stay at this airport. I don't know what's going on. There's no way to get to Memphis. This lady who is a guardian angel, she overhears me. She's like, honey, I just overheard you on the phone with your mom and I'm renting a car. I've got to get to Memphis. I've got to see my family for Christmas. So if you want to ride with me. And my mom's just like screaming, no, in the phone, no strangers, stranger danger. And I'm like, hang on. And I'm like, you're renting a car? She's like, I'm not staying in this airport. It's Christmas. I'm not going to be here Christmas Eve.
Right.
And she's like, and this guy over here, this fella, he was an exchange student that had been away from his family for 2 years. And he was about to see his family for the first time in 2 years. So he was like, I'm not staying in this airport. I'm going home. I've been in Spain for 2 years.
Yeah.
And he was like a college age, nice kid. So she's like, we're just going to do it. We're just going to drive. And I'm trying to think. There were cell phones. I don't know why I didn't have mine or something. Maybe I couldn't afford one at this point. I don't know. But we had to keep pulling over.
So you're like, no, iPhones existed.
She rented the car. And we start making the travel from Atlanta and this snowstorm. It's like pouring, like just ice, like hailing. Nobody is on the road other than like 18-wheel truckers. And my parents were like, you can ride with these strangers as long as you pull over every hour and call us. Mm-hmm. Like that was the deal. And so I kept like checking in and being like, we're fine, we're still coming. And it was taking us like 4 times the amount of time to drive from Atlanta because of the snow. And finally, we just called them and my parents were like, you are not going to make it to Memphis. They have closed down all the roads leading to Memphis. This lady's crazy. Have her divert and drop you off at your grandparents' house. This highway it was like a 2-lane highway that we were on. They were like, just have them drop you off at Nana and Granddaddy's. So we go to my grandparents' house. It's 2 days before Christmas Eve. We walk in. My grandfather, he comes out. He's like, really, I can tell he's going to like level with them. He's like, listen, y'all are not going to make it to Memphis, Tennessee. He's like, but you can stay here with us. We are going to have a big Christmas. Like Granddaddy was really selling it. And Nana was like popping in with coffee. Like she was like, we're good people. Y'all can stay. Look at the tree. We're good people. Like she was like trying. And the woman was like, y'all seem like good people. And thank you so much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take my chances. And the kid was like, yeah, I mean, I've been in Spain for 2 years. Like I'm not staying in Okolona, Mississippi, which is where my grandparents live.
Okay.
And so they were like, thank you very much. Like, we're going to go. And they were like, okay, well, you stay here. And I just stayed at my grandparents and I was like, bye, y'all. Good luck. Never heard from him again. Never talked to him again.
Oh, my God.
Literal guardian angels. And Delta lost my my baggage that I brought on the flight with all my Christmas presents in it.
Oh, man.
I never even got that back.
That sounds like a movie. That sounds like a legit holiday movie. Maybe Hallmark.
Get at me, Hallmark. Let's write it up.
Let's go, Hallmark.
But I'll never forget my grandparents like really trying to sell them on it. And they just had the coffee and like everything was like warm and they were like,
no, it feels like it would be a very cozy place. Like I'm thinking of like there's a fire, there are candles.
Yeah.
They got the lights kind of dimmed a little bit. Everyone
they
sipping
were ready.
on coffee.
They were ready with the pitch.
The decorations.
We always have extra presents my grandmother would have for like, because extra people show up at Christmas.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to spend Christmas with strangers.
No, but it was very, very cool and amazing for your grandparents to even offer. That's like salt of the earth, good people type stuff, Like, I would never do that.
You'd be like, get out of my house.
I'd be like, you all got to go. Like, I'm sorry. No,
thank you for bringing our granddaughter.
I would for sure. My wife wouldn't let me do that, which is why she's my wife, because she balances me out, because I really wouldn't do it.
Yeah. You're very domesticated now.
I am, yeah. Christmas, I like Christmas decorations. That's how I found out how domesticated I was, is like putting up Christmas lights.
I love a CVS aisle change.
You know?
I do.
CVS aisle change.
I mean, whenever they have like Halloween Day, they were taking that down and putting out the Christmas lights. And I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. No, it was still the day.
Yeah.
Because people were ordering, look, the jig is up. I drive delivery services. People were ordering costumes and like masks and stuff. And I'm like, you guys, they don't have this. Like I kept going to the Target to like try to make the run. And I'd have to hit like, nope, they don't have this item.
People were trying to do it yesterday.
Yes, on the day of Halloween. Yeah. And it's like, come on, lazy. First of all, if you're lazy enough to order your costume like through
that's really
a driver delivery service.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the kind of people that were doing it on the day of.
I've never ordered anything but food.
You can order anything.
That's wild. I mean, I have noticed that. I just haven't done it. I've never considered that.
Yeah, because you're not a lazy person.
No, I mean, I'll order from a place that's literally less than a mile from my house. With no shame. I'll pay the extra fee. And it's a very cool vibe in there. Nothing against it. I love their grilled chicken sandwich, though.
We do thank you for that extra fee because it does, in fact, pay a lot of our bills. So we applaud your laziness.
Yeah, well.
I speak for all of us.
American companies making money off of people's laziness.
America.
Wait,
were you done telling us about the plane? You just look in between the arriving and departing?
That's it, yeah.
And then you research the plane and see when's the last time one of these bad boys went down?
No, I just know for sure it was a Boeing one most recently, so I don't fuck with Boeing. Like, I watched a documentary about the 737 MAX and the issues mechanically because of some tech they put in there that didn't work. And it was because the guy who did the quality control job was
hitting that vape pen.
Hitting the vape pen going into work. They stopped drug testing.
Really?
No.
Oh.
But I could see it.
I believed my own lie for a second. But what you were telling me about this other documentary, you're always watching a documentary.
I love documentaries. I love them. Yeah, I just...
it makes you feel like you're learning while you're smoking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like less bad about that. It's like listening to audiobooks.
It's so funny. Like people used to hate documentaries. Like back in the day, you'd be like, oh man, a documentary. And now that we're like Netflix and all these services have made it so interesting that you're like, oh yes, a new documentary about owls. Like it doesn't even matter what it is. You're like, this is going to be good.
Well, it's like there used to just be one guy going out there with his camera and that was a documentary. And now like watching this one last night, for instance, or any real like true crime documentary or whatever, they have this production now that's like incredible. It's like you're watching a TV show or a movie. Like the sound is good, the lighting's good, the music like the score is really good. Like, and you're like, holy shit. And you just get drawn in. But this one I watched yesterday was wild. It's called The Alien Abduction in Manhattan. Insane. True story.
All right.
This lady gets pulled out. There's a blackout in New York.
Okay.
All right. This is in the early 90s. And during this blackout, this lady gets pulled out of her apartment on like the 5th or 7th floor, something like that, and is literally in a beam of light and goes up into a spaceship. And there are 23 witnesses. 23.
Okay.
And like there is a part where...
Nobody got it on camera though.
Well, they didn't have cell phones then, Carlisle.
Okay. So it's back in my day is what you're saying.
No. But 95, did they have cell phones?
No, definitely not.
No, right? Like a car phone was a huge thing in like 98.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And it was wild because there was also another scene where, she had been abducted, not even once, twice, wound up in a field. Didn't know how she got there, had a bloody nose. This guy who
there.
It's crazy.
Mississippi girl.
Yeah. I know how it happened though. This chick did not. Yeah, they had like an x-ray of this spiral metal piece that was like up in her nose, in her nasal cavity. And she would wake up with bloody noses. And this guy who did all sorts of like hypnotherapy for former people who have been abducted, claimed to be abducted, had all very similar experiences. And the like kind of prod up the nose. Like think of COVID when they were shoving that shit up your nose. It's like that, but metal
but like
and
a
longer.
Corkscrew.
She said it was like a baster, and like they had it up there.
Oh
and
my God, this is my worst nightmare.
Well, and this guy who like, I forget his name, but he he has since passed away, but his whole work, his whole research was basically like, yeah, they are, we're guinea pigs essentially, but they also follow bloodlines. Like this lady's grandmother, according to the lady who's now, older, still like on this, talking about her experiences, was also seeing ghosts. And then she's like being like, this lady is now being filmed talking about how her grandma used to see ghosts, but now she realizes it was aliens because they're the same. She just didn't know because she was too young.
Right.
Fucking like her son gets abducted. It's crazy, dude.
What do they want? What did they ask her about when they abducted her?
No, she wasn't having conversations, Carlisle. She was getting prodded.
They just wanted to stick a rod in and send her on her way.
That's pretty much, yeah. I mean,
like
think of it as like
girls.
getting tracked. You know how like we take animals, like we'll take a hawk or we'll take a lion and we'll like tranquilize them and then we'll put a tracker in them.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going on.
Yeah, like you tag a deer and then send it off in the wild again.
Could be. Yeah.
Oh my.
Could be like that.
So terrifying.
It's crazy.
And the blackout was probably caused by them as well.
The blackout's the crazy part. And I haven't looked that up yet. Because if there really was a blackout during that time and then that happened, that's fucking insane.
Listen, if they did a whole documentary about it, I bet somebody fact-checked it.
They checked it out. Let's hope.
They don't need old Bryan Agnew to do their due diligence.
Well, this is what happens when you smoke. You go down the rabbit hole, I'm like, wait a minute. Let me cross-reference sources on this.
And this is why I want a generator, because that would be so terrifying to be in LA and just all of a sudden the power grid goes out or something, which I know this is sounding a little conspiracy theory as well.
No, it's not.
Every time I go home to Mississippi, they do advertise for generators a lot. And I'm like, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
My parents have a generator.
Yeah. Well, usually in like rural areas, most people do have a generator. But I think it would be worse to be here in LA and just be in some building and it's like pitch black and you're just dependent on the few candles that you have laying around from Bath and Body Works. Like that's not going to last you but a couple hours. And then think about it, not being able to charge your phone. Like
people would lose their minds.
All these people in their Teslas, like what's going to happen to all those Tesla trucks? They're just out in the street. Did
you ever see the movie Leave the World Behind? With the Teslas that like basically there's a hack. It's basically a post-apocalyptic movie about other countries hacking our stuff,
and
including
this is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, they like the phones aren't working, no service is working. They think one side did something to the other side, and then it causes a civil war within. Like the military shoots down civilians, and then the Air Force's planes are shot down. Wild. Ethan Hawke, big fan.
All right.
Who else?
I'll
Idris Elba. No, it's not Idris Elba. Ah, shit. I don't mean to be racist. I could have easily done it with anybody else.
It's okay. Sound off in the comments if you think that Bryan has... I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
It'll boost the algorithm. I'm just saying. Speaking of movies.
Yeah. Wait. Can we go back to...
What?
Okay, no.
You want me to tell more of my Christmas story?
No, I want to talk more about this potential hack shit.
Okay.
This is real.
You want to scare the audience further. Well, it is Halloween weekend. So
maybe we already talked about it, but there was a Verizon outage like a month ago.
Yeah, you and I
we both experienced
benefited from that because it forced us to be present for a good 4 to 5 hours.
Nope, not me. I'll tell you right now, I was like a crack addict.
Yeah,
I had
it didn't feel good.
So the same day that happened was the day I was switching my internet from Spectrum to Verizon.
Oof.
So I switched over in the AM before it all happened, checked my email, got up early, got at like 6:30 a.m., whatever, which God bless, that felt nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, switched over the internet, all good. And then nothing's working. And I'm like, I fucked it up. And then our phones aren't working. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's like my wife's first day of work. And I'm like tripping. I'm like, I fucked us. She doesn't have cell phone service, And so I rush over to Verizon. It isn't even open yet. And there's a line. There's a line out there. And, it ended up getting resolved. Some towers went down, whatever. But then I was reading the Wall Street Journal because I educate myself.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Hello. But it's also fake news.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No, but
he reads it. He doesn't believe it.
I don't believe it. It's just I read it to know what what's being said by Big Brother.
Yeah. What they'll let us think.
Yeah.
For that day.
Yeah, exactly. But there was an article talking about how there was actually a huge hack from like Chinese hackers. And they had gotten into cell phone companies, Verizon and T-Mobile, the most like, oh boy, like infiltrated. And then they also got into like our power grid and and that's associated with like traffic lights and obviously the power. And like they said it was the most sophisticated attack that's ever happened, cyber attack, and that it really wasn't for them to do anything. It was like the reconnaissance work. So when they want to flip a switch to make chaos happen if they want, they could do that.
Oh my God.
And that's not being reported in at all, but
it's a little preview.
You know, J-Lo speaking at some rally, that's a huge deal. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Wait a second.
So buy a generator.
Yeah, I'm going to tonight.
This is a darker episode. Keep going.
It is, but we're getting into the conspiracy theories as long as we're here. I will say.
Yeah.
I heard of one that was terrifying because found myself at a baby shower where there was a lot of military family. Okay. Just happened to be seated at a table where there was like younger people, like, you know, like not, these weren't like old geezers talking about it. This is like people that like, know they're currently in like Secret Service ops right now.
Whoa.
And this guy was like, I can't say too much, but the biggest like threat to us right now is how much data is on our phones because of things like TikTok and social media. And somebody was like, prying for him to tell us more. And he was like, I mean, basically, because we all like have these profiles and everything, it has to have a password and now Face ID with the phone and all this. Basically, he said that like another country could have our data and they could have these drones that come over our country and split into like 300,000 pieces at a time that have a bullet coming for your head based on Bryan Agnew, Dodgers 76-37, your password and your name and like how many times however many devices you have, that is how more precise that one piece of that one split off bomb, drone, whatever it could be. So like these people that sit on TikTok all day and YouTube, again, thank you for subscribing. You are like,
we're still going to do the podcast. Don't get it wrong.
You're offering up yourself. Oh, I'm still on TikTok all the time. Or I'm trying to break into that algorithm. But like the more specific the more devices you have, the more social media is, the more precise and specific that piece of weaponry can be once it splits off. And they can split off into like 300,000 pieces each.
So this is someone who's working in intelligence.
It was like a young guy.
Like he has a job within government.
Yes.
Dude.
And I can't be specific because he wasn't. And also, this is back when I was smoking. Enough. I don't remember a lot of the details, but he was like working in a foreign country and he learned this. And he was like, whenever I have kids, I'm not going to let them like have social media or be on their phones because you're just kind of, you're like narrowing in on yourself. You're making it more and more precise. Every time you open that Face ID thing and create another password and login info and all that.
I'm getting a flip phone.
So a lot of kids are.
Good.
At Austin City Limits, the amount of like young people that I saw taking pictures with digital cameras and flip phones kind of blew me away.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that I did hear that was a trend.
That's cool.
On TikTok.
Hey, I don't have it.
Well, you're about to for this podcast.
I got to get it now, but sorry, Alex. Hit the mic. What else has been going on? Aside from conspiracies.
So sorry, we've really gone down a dark path here, but
I think it's fun.
These
are fun conversations.
It's fun to talk about our death and demise and how we'll eventually have nothing. It'll be such a change from what we have now. No, just get darker and darker. No, I filmed a movie.
Yes.
Your girl was the lead in a movie, and
awesome.
You would think that would amount to any kind of pay, but it actually doesn't.
It's freelance.
That's a big, conspiracy theory. Whenever I was a child and I like hoped to be acting in movies one day, I should have been more specific with the manifestation, like acting in movies, but also, little things in my manifestation. I should have wanted like people to actually see the movies.
Right.
Or
right. Right. 100%.
So,
or like, characters you can identify with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this character, I brought it. But
did you bring it?
Yeah, it's just funny.
I'm sure
I
you
don't
did
think
great.
Anybody else brought any of the other things like
no.
production value. But I was in this thing that it happens a lot here in LA where they'll have like a 48-hour film challenge.
Okay.
So to their credit, they only had 48 hours to get this thing together. And that is counting for getting the topic and genre, writing it, shooting it, and editing it.
Okay.
It's called a 48-hour film challenge. And I know this group of people that were doing one. They cast me.
Sick.
And because they knew I was available and free for hire. And it was a great story. I played a detective.
That's fun.
I was channeling like, Mariska Hargitay and Law and Order, like that kind of vibe.
Yep.
Like I was the straight man.
Yep.
And my partner, the other detective, he had a big gambling problem. And so he was always annoying me, like betting on things. And we're trying to be focused on this case. And I was
through an app on his phone.
Very serious. Yeah. Like he was like, he was just always like talking about gambling and whatever. And
trying
I had to be like,
parlay.
No, back to this murder. And it was a kind of like a sci-fi element to it as well. Because basically the story was
it's about aliens.
This little girl was found in a room of all these big grown men that had been deceased and killed. She's the only one there. She is covered in blood. She's holding a puppy because it was what you had to put like certain elements into that was part of the challenge.
I see.
And so
like they give you kind of a topic.
Yeah, and then you have to write around that. And it had to be a horror.
Okay.
So anyway, I have to do the big reveal of, but this same girl, her DNA, her dental records, everything, this is a girl that was missing in 1985.
Oh.
The same girl that was never found, they're saying these fingerprints match to this girl, but this can't be true because we're sitting here interviewing the girl. So it has this element of, not making sense. But it just was like a very long day. And
how long was it?
I was
48 hours, but how much were you?
Well, my part was just the day, but it was it was last Saturday that I drove up to Ventura and shot this.
Cool.
And so my call time to be on set was like 9 a.m.
Okay.
And we finished up around like 9 p.m. It was like a full day.
Yeah.
And a lot of screaming from me.
Okay.
Because I can spoil the movie. This isn't going nowhere. Like you're not ever going to see this film.
But
I'll tell you where it's going to go. It's going to go on Here for the Hang podcast as soon as I get this footage because I think it's going to be hilarious. They try to do a CGI element because what happens is the girl kills anybody that touches her puppy. So
it's like John Wick.
Yes.
Kind
so
of.
my cohort, the other detective, he's like the absent-minded, always gambling. He's not really in the room. So he's like, I'm not scared of it. And like pets the puppy. And so there is a scene where his legs and arms are blown off. Like the lights go down, lights come up.
Oh my God.
That
like
would
be
typical New York blackout situation here.
Right.
And I'm just in the corner, like cowering, like, I didn't touch the puppy. But I mean, I had to really cry and shake and bring the
energy.
The Meisner technique for the actors out there. No, it sucked because I was like, really like, acting, screaming, like my voice hurt. And I scared the little girl. Like after they said cut, she was like, are you okay? Like I scared this puppy. It was like a real dog that they used. And I was like screaming and carrying on so much because the lights go down and then it comes up and this guy is laying there on the table all bloody. And can't wait for y'all to see how those special effects turned out.
They're gonna be dope.
Yeah.
They're using Unreal Engine, I heard.
They had the whole, not to give away the secrets of Hollywood, but he put on like green screen, like neon green, like leggings and then like arm things. And then they like made it look like his legs and arms were just ripped off of his body.
That's hilarious. That's kind of dope, though.
It's pretty. Well, that's the problem. It turned out more hilarious than
that could be a cult classic. It was like was The Room.
Oh my God,
that's a cult classic, and that was like trying to be a dramatic movie.
Has anybody seen The Room? If you haven't, I think it's just available online now.
You definitely YouTube it or rent it.
The thing about that movie is, for years and years living in LA, I would see the billboard that just said The Room with like that weird guy's face, and I would be like, what is that? Like, they just ran this billboard forever to advertise it, because the guy, you haven't seen the James Franco movie where they make fun of it?
I have.
Okay, so but have you seen the original Room? Because I haven't seen the original.
No, I haven't seen the original.
You're talking, is the James Franco one called The Room too?
I think so.
Okay, so if you haven't seen that movie, watch it. But that is based on a real cult classic that it was just like a B horror movie.
Yeah.
That this guy had enough money to promote for years and years and years through billboards, and it was just like him like glaring, like just having like this like glare, and it just said The Room and just his face, and that's all the information you had about the movie. And I would just see it driving around and be like, what is that? It was a 48-hour film challenge.
Was it a 48-hour? Except it took them 90 days.
Yeah, it had 48-hour film challenge energy.
Funny, dude. Well, that sounds like fun, though. That sounds cool.
Another movie of mine for the cutting room floor. We should just do like a film festival of all my films.
Do it.
We'll just cut back and forth. Speaking of James Franco, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's in that movie that makes fun of The Room. I was in a James Franco movie.
Were you really?
Yes.
What movie were you in?
Okay, so it's called Yosemite.
Okay.
And I was typecast. I played a waitress.
Hell yeah. Sick. Did you have any lines?
This is the thing. My line was, "Are you guys all done here?" Nice. And I clear plates.
Yeah, but that's like a cool way of
it is
wrapping it up.
It's art imitating life, if you will.
Art imitating life.
Because that's really all I do.
Life imitating art.
Yes. No, I think I said it right.
I knew you definitely said it right. I was just throwing it in reverse.
This is what's hilarious about being in a movie with James Franco. I was so excited to have the photos and be like, I'm on set, like I'm working on a James Franco, but I'm in a waitress uniform. So it doesn't look like, and it was like a period piece too. So it's supposed to be like the 80s or 90s. And it's like this dumb bow tie and like a little vest, like what a waitress would wear at like a Quality Inn, like or like a Holiday Inn. You know what I mean? Like just a cheesy.
Was it like a diner?
Yeah, it was like this hotel. The storyline was like he and his son were there, and I just go up and clear the place, and I go, "Are you guys all done here?" And I wink at the camera because I think it's my big moment.
Nice.
But no, I knew like the part wasn't going to get me anything.
Yeah.
But we live in this. But the credit, was one thing to be in a movie with James Franco, and then we live in this, this time where you just want to get the content. You just want to be like a picture with James Franco. But this is what's hilarious. I am in a full-on waitress uniform, so it doesn't look like I'm acting in a movie with James Franco. It looks like was like passing a tray of shrimp at a party and was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Franco, can I take a picture with you?" Like I'm in a bow tie. What girl wants to be in a picture with James Franco in a bow tie?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of Gen Zers would be into it. Gen Z
it's so embarrassing, and I wanted this picture so badly, and like I have this friend that's really good at Photoshop. First of all, why didn't I just take the bow tie off and just pose with him in a normal way?
Or is there like
and then I could have been like on set, killing it, booked and blessed, hashtag. Like,
yeah, you could have. And it would got a lot of likes.
But I did not do that.
Was there anything with like any kind of production equipment behind you in the picture? Because that would have been.
No, it literally looks like we're at a banquet. And I would just like bothered him for a photo, which is so dumb. And then I have a friend that's really good at Photoshop that was like, "I got you, girl." And he was like, "I'm just going to Photoshop out the bow tie." And so That's even worse because I have to find this picture to show y'all. Then it's a photoshopped out bow tie. And he was like, and I made your chin a little smaller too. Like he tried to like give me like a snatched jawline to like help out like the picture.
Jay Leno.
It looks like it's better CGI than in this movie I did last week. Like it's like just doesn't exist at all in reality.
I want to see this picture.
I think we're going to throw it up.
We're going to put it right here.
It's going to be here.
And here's the photo.
You're going to see it. It's hilarious. And it is the one and only time I've worked with James Franco. But you know what? If I didn't tell that story, you wouldn't even know. On the IMDb credit, it just says that I was in the movie Yosemite. So.
Yeah, dude. I mean, those are little details. It's still a cool thing, you know?
That's going to get me an agent someday. I still believe it.
It's going to go on your reel. You're submitting it still. You're submitting the reel over.
The reason why it's not on my reel is because I can't even afford to buy the movie on Amazon Prime. So I've never seen it in its entirety.
Like, really? You've never seen the whole thing?
I don't have it. No.
I'm imagining it's like an indie movie.
This was in that like frame of time whenever James Franco was just cranking out the indie movies.
Yeah.
Remember this time?
James Franco's a good actor.
He's a great actor, but he used to teach an acting class.
I used to take screenwriting class at his acting studio.
But he didn't teach it.
No.
Okay.
No. I forget the guy's name.
He
wore a fedora.
This was such a time in LA where like so many people were taking that acting class because they thought they were going to meet James Franco. Ooh. And nobody ever did.
Yeah, it got shut down.
Yeah, unless you were like a really hot young thing, then I think you got to meet James himself. But other than that, they were like, Bryan Agnew, back of the class.
They were like, acting? No, go to screenwriting.
You're not going to meet Mr. Franco today.
There was a legit lawsuit that like it was a class action lawsuit. I think it was actually about harassment that got sent out. And I don't know why it went to my email.
Yeah, you're like, look.
I was like, I'm not signing on to this. I like James Franco. And who knows if they're telling the truth.
You had nothing but positive experiences from the James Franco.
I didn't get any of those vibes, you know?
Yeah. And you didn't get cast in one of the movies? I think there were 10,000 of them.
Damn. No, I didn't. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? My, the attempted acting side for me in terms of auditioning for anything, I've never really auditioned. I did all the UCB improv stuff, all the UCB sketch writing stuff. Never, got onto troupe or whatever that was. And then the only time I ever really auditioned, didn't get a fun Budweiser thing, and then ended up getting booked for an Audi commercial, but I was like a part of a crowd. And it was going to be an Audi commercial in Russia. And they were like, it was like in a huge theater.
They were going to fly you to Russia?
No. It was for Russia.
Oh, okay.
And it was in Calabasas. And it was at this theater.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Yeah, dude. And it was like supposed to be a full theater, but basically they put us in a very small section. And then they had us move. And then they had us move again.
They used the special effects to make it look like, oh my God, I've so been in a commercial like that too.
But it was still fun.
When you're like in the crowd and they're like, oh, and I'm also over there in the crowd. Yeah. That's weird because they take that one shot and double it.
They just copy and paste into different sections, fill it up.
We're ruining cinematic magic just one story at a time here.
Well, I don't think we've been we haven't been a part of a really high production quality.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Yosemite had James Franco. Sir James Franco was starring. He's not awesome. A sir, but...
He's not a sir.
One day.
But wait, didn't you go to like a cool benefit recently? Like...
talk about
You're not always serving shrimp.
That's right. I'm not. Thank you. I almost forgot. Yeah, I had a very like Hollywood week because I got invited to go. My dear friend, Charlotte McKinney, who is a working actress and one of my dear friends, she gets invited to some pretty cool stuff. And every now and again, I'm her plus one. But this was like a charity event in Beverly Hills for Bob Saget was very involved in this before he passed away. It's for scleroderma research, which scleroderma, I can't pronounce it, but I know a little bit about it. It is whenever your skin hardens. Which sounds like something Beverly Hills people would want. But this is something where it's like a very slow death and not a lot is known about it. And they're trying to find research for it. So like they had this huge event. Bob Saget was very involved in it because his sister had it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And she passed away.
Yeah.
And so that's when he got involved. And because he's a comedian, it's taken on this like comic. It's like a big charity that has the best comics of today performing. So it was like hosted by Jeff Ross and emceed by John Mayer.
That's so cool,
it had like this big auction. And Whitney Cummings performed.
Nice.
Yeah, she was great.
She awesome?
She's always awesome.
Yeah.
Whitney and I got to work together on Cooking with Paris.
Right.
So it was fun to see her. And but it was 9-year-old Carlisle's head was exploding. Because let me tell you why. Obviously, because the Saget connection.
Which is awesome. R.I.P., by the way, Bob Saget.
R.I.P., but because his involvement, the whole Full House cast was there, okay?
Nice.
So we're talking Jodie Sweetin.
Yeah.
Candace Cameron.
Yeah.
John Stamos. Lori Loughlin. Like, and I've seen all these people like through the years in Hollywood. Like I've actually met Jodie Sweetin because she loves comedy and she's like always at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
But to see them all like at one table from me. Like I was just like, this is insane. I was texting my mom.
Sitting at the same table.
I was just like, we were literally like this far from Aunt Becky.
Yeah.
And Uncle.
Having family dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That's cool.
It was so wild. I did walk the carpet, even though nobody knew who I was.
But they still took your photo.
They took my photo and I told them all, Carlisle Forrester, comedian, please just put that so it's not a Jane Doe.
At Carlisle Forrester on Instagram.
But it's funny because whenever you do the carpet, like everybody like picks up. I went right after Candace Cameron. Like literally DJ from Full House is like in front of me. I'm next.
Hell
and the cameras are like up and they're like, oh. Like you see like half of them put it down.
They're like, damn it.
And then one guy's like still going. He's like, I'll give it to her.
That's nice.
Yeah.
There was more than one, I'm sure.
Thank you. Yeah. But that's always how it is for anybody. They, they're there for the stars. They're not there to take my picture, but I will never skip, the carpet is fun to me. Yeah. I don't get freaked out by the stuff. I'm like, I don't care if they don't know who I am. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the red carpet with my wife at the Emmys when she, won her Emmy. But I felt more like...
and did you promote the pod?
This was, you know what? I didn't. This was before the pod, unfortunately.
Just a little, just by a hair.
Just before.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have.
You could have said it.
I would have had a business card with like the @ and like a little QR code.
Work it in.
But no, I felt more like, Jason Segel and Forgetting Sarah Marshall just kind of holding their purse off to the side.
Always. Your first red carpet photo, it looks like you're transitioning. It's okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fine. It matched my suit.
Yeah.
So there's that. No, there was no real. We got there late, so there wasn't like a lot of photography going on. But we definitely did like our own. That was fun.
That's the move, by the way.
Yeah,
because you walk it with the press and all that. But this is the trick if you're ever at one of these events and you are too shy to do the carpet, because sometimes you just feel dumb, whatever reason. You're like, they don't want me.
Right.
Just wait till it dies down.
Go last.
This is my hack. And then you go back later because they leave that stuff up.
They leave it all up.
That's the hack.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay? And then that's how you go and you can like really get into your poses and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and then it's like real fancy.
First.
Yeah. Do it. Just buy tickets to it and then do it.
Yeah. I think this
cool,
was a good episode. We covered a lot with y'all. I've given you more of my secrets. I can't help but tell more and more secrets every time we do this podcast. So,
wait, what secret did you reveal this time?
Let's not. I just gave them the hack of the red carpet. That's a pretty big.
Right. Okay.
You told them you relapsed on pot.
Whoa! I thought we were going to bring that up again.
Just to close it out.
It's only on Wednesdays.
We've said too much, but
too much.
This is what you get from us whenever you're here for the hang, y'all. And we're so glad that you are here.
Always very grateful you're here. Always glad we're hanging.
Come back. We have lots more episodes dropping every week, y'all.
Like and subscribe.
We'll be back next time. Thank you.
Later.